The cage is locked, the exit is gone, foreign powers are exposed. Welcome back to this broadcast. You're watching The Global Observer, and I urge you as usual to stay right there. We are tracking a major turning point in the battle for Mali that is making the global elite very nervous. For 12 days, the world has watched an intense fight for sovereignty. But today, the story shifts from the battlefield to the evidence. The ring around the city of Kidal is now sealed. Those who try to take the city are trapped in a literal kill box. But as the Malian forces move in, they aren't just finding enemy soldiers. They are finding the fingerprints of the West. The weapon, the money, and the voices recovered from the field are proving that this was never just a local rebellion. This was a high-stakes attempt at a regime change, and the receipts are finally being read. They are read out in public. Think of it like a group of thieves trying to break into a house, only to find that the owner has upgraded the security and locked all the doors. The fighters who walked into Kidal thinking they were the masters of the desert are now realizing there is no road out. To the north, the Algerian border is closed. To the east and west, the air forces of Niger and Burkina Faso are patrolling the sky. The desert, which used to be a place where these groups could hide, has now become their trap. Because of new technology, nothing moves in the sun without being seen. It is a complete blockade. The enemies of the state have a simple choice: surrender or face the consequences. But let's look at the tools these fighters were using, because this is where the mystery ends and the truth begins. When the Malian army and their partners started cleaning up the battlefield, they didn't just find old rifles. They found a sophisticated arsenal that looks exactly like the inventory of a NATO army. We are talking about fiber optic drones and high-tech missiles that can take down helicopters. Most of these weapons carry the stamp of Rheinmetall, which is the biggest defense company in Germany. In fact, 3 out of every 4 weapons captured carried these Western markings. These are not guns that fall off the back of a truck in a desert. These are weapons that come from the national supply chain. It's clear evidence that the West is using proxies to fight a war they don't want to sign their names to. The money is just as telling as the guns. Soldiers recovered massive amounts of cash in 3 specific currencies: the CFA franc, the euro, and the US dollar. This is the payroll of a regime change operation. These fighters weren't paying for their gear with gold from local mines. They were being paid by foreign masters. We even have audio recordings of voices speaking Italian, giving order to the assault teams. Captured fighters are now admitting that their instructors were Western foreigners. This is a coordinated European and NATO operation disguised as a rebellion. Dear viewers, it is a repeat of the old playbooks we saw in Libya and Syria. But this time, the African people are standing their ground. And let's talk about the helicopter gap that the West said Mali could never close. For 11 years, France and its allies said it was impossible to chase these groups when they flee into the bush on motorcycles. They claimed the terrain was too difficult, but in just 12 days, the Malian Air Force, with support from Russia engineering, has done the impossible. They have adapted transport helicopters into offensive machines with guns mounted in the doors. In a major counterattack near Sebogo, they chased down 40 fighters who were trying to disappear on bikes. The message is clear. The same Malians that the French press called incapable are now doing the job better and faster than the so-called experts ever did. While the battle rages in the north, a massive internal cleansing is happening in the capital. The military prosecutor in Bamako has opened a formal investigation into a coup attempt from April. They have found that the external assault had inside help. Some officials who were being let go from the army were working with the foreign planners. The Malian state is now moving through the rank like a gardener pulling weeds. They are extracting every officer whose loyalty is in question. This is now how a nation stabilizes itself, by removing the back channels that foreign intelligence services use to stir up trouble. The West kept saying Mali was unstable, but now Mali is proving it has the strength to fix its own house from the inside out. Even the diplomatic double game of neighbors like Algeria has been exposed. For 15 years, a joint committee meant to fight terror was used as a cover for a messy border policy. Mali has officially walked out of that committee. They are tired of mediators who say they want peace while they secretly support the very groups attacking Bamako. Algeria's president is now offering to help resolve the crisis, but Mali has already shut the door. The question of the North is now an internal matter for the Alliance of the Sahel. The era of outside powers using local groups as strategic instruments is over. Africa is drawing its own lines now. The energy on the ground is changing, and dear viewers, the Western media spent 10 days saying Bamako was under a total blockade. But that narrative is falling apart. Life in the capital is calm. Large convoys of food and fuel are moving through the country without any problems. The siege is only happening in the headlines of foreign newspapers. The real blockade is in Kidal, where the enemy is trapped and running out of supply. Those who took drugs to stay brave in battle are now finding that those drugs can't save them from geography. They are pinned down in a city with no supply line and no way home. As we look at the situation today, we see a country that is finally taking its destiny into its own hands. The captured NATO weapons, the Italian voices on the radio, and the internal traitors being rounded up all tell the same story. The old world is fighting hard to keep its grip on Africa, but the new world is fighting harder to be free. Mali is not just surviving, it is winning. It is proving that with the right allies and a strong will, any nation can break the chains of foreign interference. The 5 billion lost by the infiltrators was just the beginning of the cost for those who underestimated the Sahel. Thank you, therefore, for being with us for this update from the front lines of African sovereignty. We are telling the story that the mainstream media is too afraid to touch. Make sure you share this broadcast so the truth about the West regime change plot reaches every corner of the continent. Also do well to click on the subscribe button. This is the news brought to you by the Global Observer. Stay informed, stay proud, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye for now.